volunteers in Taipei City help an 80-year-old woman remove clutter from her fifth-floor apartment. Young people are mobilized to take to the streets in Taiwan to persuade people to cut back on plastics. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Let's get started. An elderly lady in her 80s, Mrs. Tsai, lives alone on the fifth floor of an old apartment in DaAi District, Taipei City. She had a lot of clutter in her house and was unable to clean as 53 Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help out. Here's more. A human chain helped relay all the debris to be thrown away down the stairs.
This resident lives on the fifth floor. All the rubbish needs to be passed from the fifth floor all the way to the bottom.
82-year-old woman surnamed Tsai lives alone in an old apartment with no elevator. Her 120 square meter apartment is packed with rubbish, including the living room, the kitchen, and the bedroom. This makes it difficult to move around, and the house is filled with a strange smell.
She has retired for many years. Then she's relatively frugal by nature, so many things in the house she's reluctant to throw away.
Tzu Chi volunteers dispatched 53 people not only to help the old woman clean the house, but also to arrange cleaning work.
Taipei District is really united this time. There are so many people after just one message goes out. So we clean it first, and after we clear out the rubbish, it's a bit too dirty inside. So we just bring the cleaning agent that the borough chief prepared. We just clean the inside again to make it a normal home.
Before disposing of each item, they confirmed if it was okay with the owner. Wiping and cleaning carefully and not overlooking any corner, it took nearly 2 hours for the living room and dining room to be sorted out, with more than 50 bags of garbage cleared away.
We just sorted the garbage first, and what could be recycled was put in a bag.
Volunteers from DaAi District mobilized so that Ms. Tai can now have a clean and comfortable home to live in. In Malaysia, a group of kind-hearted people donated 700 kilograms of fresh vegetables to the Kuala Lumpur Genista Hall. Volunteers then repackaged the veggies and sent them to the homes of care recipients. Take a look.
Over 700 kilograms of fresh vegetables have been sent to the Genista Hall in Kuala Lumpur. This is the love of the Good Samaritan of society and also the love of a wholesaler. It is hoped that these veggies can be sent to those in need and encourage everyone to eat more vegetables.
We hope to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to eat more vegetables to protect our planet.
Volunteers are in charge of packaging the veggies and then distribute them to the houses of care recipients.
For the care recipients who will receive these vegetables, our volunteers will deliver these veggies personally to their homes. These vegetables are going to be sent to the Welfare Disability Center known as IQ70. We hope that we're able to form good affinities with them.
We'll send these vegetables to the care recipients' homes. If there are extras, we'll then give it to the recycling volunteers or the community volunteers.
Under the pandemic, these vegetables are full of love and encouragement, allowing everyone to pass through this tough time.
Running is an exercise that brings great benefits to the body. Chee Teong is a salesperson who runs 4 times a week. Despite his busy schedule, he says running has made him happier, and he shares his joy with friends and family members.
At Desert Park City, a beautiful environment suitable for running, Chee Teong and his friends gathered here on weekends, running together.
Sometimes when I feel good, I can run 150 kilometers per week.
Running since 2018 until now, Chee Teong's body experienced great changes. Not only did he lose 20 kilograms of weight, he also recovered from chronic diseases.
I have a full-time and part-time job causing me to sleep late often. I remember one time when I tried to sleep, I had difficulty breathing because I had health issues. So I tried to find sports that can assist my health condition, and thus I thought running fits me the most.
Running might seem easy, but it actually requires proper techniques that cuts down effort for maximum performance.
When we breathe, we use a technique called abdominal breathing. We won't use diaphragmatic breathing. It's like when you run, your hands are shaking like this and your heart BPM is low. But when you try a different technique, your heart BPM will go up. So when you run, you must run lightly.
What Chee Teong explained are the running methods keeping low heart BPM, suitable for beginner runners, and runners that exercise for health concerns.
Why do we train like this? Well, firstly, it's for reducing fat. Secondly, it's for reducing pain after running because I don't have to run fast. If you run fast and lack muscular endurance, you will get injured easily. So the low heart rate formula is formed by taking your age minus it by 180. If you are 30 years old, the number is 150, and it means that while you run, your heart rate must be below 150 BPM.
Not only did running bring a healthy body and confidence, Chee Teong often shares his experience on Facebook, inviting his friends and family into the world of running.
Running is actually a sport that reduces stress because when you sweat, you feel lighter. I'm confident that when I treat it like a marathon, I will become healthier.
Now this is a part of my life. Not only did I get used to it, if I didn't run today, I feel like something's missing. My children also see me and my husband running, so they won't have an excuse when they tell us about lacking exercise.
Besides running together, Chee Teong, who is a vegetarian, often encourages fellow runners to eat more vegetables and fruits.
I think that after eating vegetarian food, I gain more endurance while running. In fact, the longer I run, the more energetic I feel. Quinoa provides very high protein and is very good in terms of repairing our muscles after running.
After the meal, everyone uses apps, analyzing their running performance this time as each person adjusts their posture for the next run.
After a run, we'll upload our running data to an app. The app then gives clues to what went wrong during the run. The first thing we look at is the heart rate. Then we look at our running posture if our running balance is correct.
Persistent in running and healthy diet, vegetarians may also have a strongly built body, running distances without any issues.
Volunteer Genista Tan loves cooking as she often holds vegetarian charity sales in different communities. Although in the household she's the only vegetarian, but through making creative vegetarian cuisine, she had successfully made family members like vegetarian food. Now 2 of her children and her helper also joined in on the bandwagon of vegetarianism, eating vegetarian meals 3 times a day.
Genista Tan loves cooking as she is often seen in the kitchen, cooking along with her helper.
I like to focus on health. We also use the best and most natural ingredients. So I like cooking. It all started from there.
2 years ago, Genista Tan went from being a non-vegetarian to a vegetarian person. She also started to develop her own vegetarian dishes.
We're cooking vegetarian braised pork over rice. Our vegetarian meals are actually very simple. We also don't have to make too many. I like to cook one type of vegetable, including all protein, calcium, and vitamins.
Tzu Chi Selangor chapter held a vegetarian event starting February this year. Volunteer Genista Tan joined in and started to encourage people around her to become vegetarian.
My 2 children like Western food, so every day when we eat rice and vegetables, they don't show any interest at all. So I have to really think before cooking. Therefore, I made kimchi fried rice. I even learned how to make kimchi.
Helper Sarini has been working in this household for 10 years, as she is also affected by the trend of vegetarianism.
Processing meat takes a lot of time, but processing vegetables take about 2 or 3 rinses. Now, after eating vegetarian meals, I feel healthier and my body is also lighter.
With full support from her family, Genista Tan became more confident as she brought up the 3 steps of encouraging others to go vegetarian.
When we ask others to go vegetarian, we cannot use too much pressure. We must follow the 3 steps. The first step is to give an apple cooking for them. The second step is to teach them how to plant an apple. It means providing a food recipe. So I established an English-speaking group that focuses on vegetarian food. I searched our burritos and I made a different recipe based on my own understanding, allowing others to learn it easier. The third step is to share our wisdom. Actually, vegetarianism is good for our body, and it's even better when your children follows it.
第3呢，就是要分享，就是分享智慧。其实茹素呢，其实对身体更加健康，其实对你的孩子，其实真的更加好。
Through delicious vegetarian meals and a simple recipe, Genista Tan invites everyone around her to go vegetarian.
In Taiwan, Tzu Chi promotes the reduction of plastic products. As Tzu Chi volunteers took to the streets to promote the campaign, young people have joined them. These youngsters do their share to persuade people to cut down on the use of plastics with passion and sincerity. Take a look.
Outside Taichung Jingsi Hall, this group of young people are promoting the reduction of plastics. They're brave to do what is right.
If customers bring their own cups, they can accumulate points or enjoy discounts.
The friendly vendor is willing to provide discounts from time to time to encourage customers to bring their own cups.
If my children have the opportunity to participate in this activity as a parent, I would feel very touched.
To convince the store owners, young people might seem experienced and shy, but they are very sincere.
There is a layer of paper underneath. We need to separate the paper and other materials.
This is Xingtian Recycling Station in Hanzi, Taichung. Teachers and students from experimental educational school have come to visit and participate in sorting recyclables.
In the past, my concept was that plastic bags cannot be recycled. I did not know that discarding plastic bags would lead to serious consequences.
There are many details that we neglect in our daily lives.
Small actions that we tend to overlook in life could lead to burdens on planet Earth. In order to leave a clean environment for future generations, we need to be environmentally aware.
March 12th is Arbor Day in Taiwan, and a few entrepreneur volunteers gathered at the Kaohsiung Gangshan grounds to plant trees. One volunteer even brought her grandson to join in the event, doing their share for the planet.
Using a tool to loosen the dirt underneath the hot sun, volunteers are planting trees at the Gangshan City grounds. Even this 4-year-old child is here to help alongside his grandmother.
I've often brought him to join me on Tzu Chi events, like study groups or sutra adaptation performances. He's always with me.
This area was planted by our honorary board member team 2 years ago. They were just seedlings then, and now it's nearly a forest.
Seeing the seedlings grow up well is quite moving. For this Arbor Day, an entrepreneur donated 200 Chinese junipers.
Planting seedlings and to nurture it helps beautify the grounds. It's wonderful for the trees to grow.
There are also 90-year-old seniors joining in on this fun day to plant a tree.
I like activities, so I'm often out participating.
I hope this plot of land, after being cultivated by everyone, can become a great wonderland for the community in Jiahui Kaohsiung region.
As each tree is planted, a new hope is also planted. It is hoped this Arbor Day helps to produce a low carbon emitting space.
In Taiwan, there are over 80,000 visitors in Hehuan Mountain every year. Many may be prone to altitude sickness, pulmonary and brain edema. Every year, a special medical team heads into the mountain to safeguard the health of visitors.
When humans are in the high mountain regions, the most common danger is mountain sickness. Due to the thin air, the blood oxygen level in our body will reduce, which will lead to pulmonary edema, brain edema, and even death.
Mountain sickness is directly related to the altitude of the mountain. According to statistics, when a person is at an altitude of over 2,100 meters above the sea level, they will experience mountain sickness. And when they're above 2,700 meters, the rate of developing mountain sickness increases sharply. For Hehuan Mountain, our medical station is located at 3,200 meters above sea level, so many people will have mountain sickness there. The symptoms are headaches, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, dizziness, and insomnia. Sometimes, the symptoms are like flu, which are coughing and running nose.
On this day, while the medical personnel have just arrived and haven't set up the venue, a young patient has already come to seek medical assistance.
没有，我们昨天晚上就在楼下一直等哦。
肢体会不会痛？会。
他一睡醒，我给他喝那个热的，他就开始吐了。对啊，然后就一直吐。
气不够，我给你带起来哈。
没有，这是当。
We've been waiting at Cui Feng since 3 o'clock due to the control order. I gave him something hot to drink at around 7 o'clock and he started vomiting, and it continued until now.
There will be 4 people in the team every time they head up. There will be doctors who can immediately diagnose the patient's problems and provide necessary treatments. There will also be nursing staff to provide other assistance. This is considered a complete medical team. With this team, it will be of much help towards the patients in the mountains. Every year during the snow season medical service, it is quite taxing for the medical workers. Recently, there has been a lot of snowfall, and I believe that there are many visitors up here who are in need of medical assistance. These medical personnel have been working very hard, so I especially came up and visit them.
会笑啦，会笑。在里面不好玩就哭了，在外面看看就好了。拜拜，祝福你们，对啊，拜拜。
我第一次知道，就是说高山上。
It's the first time knowing that up here in the mountains there are snow season doctors. It's our first time up here and we have required their assistance. Although I know that my child might be suffering from motion sickness, but he's still young and is unable to tell us. After seeing the doctor, we will feel much at ease, and I think that the doctors are really nice and full of patience.
For Ms. Chen and her 3 friends, they've just headed up to Hehuan Mountain by car the day before. One of them have vomited and the other 2 have dizziness, so they are resting at Songxue Lounge. Upon learning about their conditions, the medical personnel head up to care.
We drove from Taipei to Hehuan Mountain. Yesterday night when he was sleeping, he said that he felt dizzy. The side of his head will also hurt. After having breakfast today, he did not feel right and said that he wanted to rest more. We headed over to the medical station and they immediately came over to the room to check on him. His blood oxygen percentage was around 70 to 80 just now, but after inhaling the oxygen, it has now reached 99%.
This medical requirement will be ever present. As long as Hehuan Mountain still stands, it will always snow. And when the snow season arrives, the snow season medical service will always be needed.
Every year, 80 billion animals are slaughtered around the world, creating a lot of excrement, which is difficult to deal with. Biogas power generation began 30 years ago to poor results, but technology has improved as it now helps generate electricity. Here's more. According to the latest statistics from the Council of Agriculture, there are 5.5 million pigs raised in Taiwan on some 6,497 pig farms. The top 3 counties for pork production are Yunlin, Pingdong, and Zhanghua.
The number of pigs raised in Yunlin County is tops in Taiwan. Of course, there are more animal husbandry waste drained into our rivers and land as it is a large source of pollution.
The amount of biogas produced by a pig in one day can be 0.1 cubic meters of biogas.
The direct emission of biogas can cause climate warming, but turning it into heat and electricity not only reduces pollution but also makes money. Heat energy can help keep the pig house warm and save electricity bills in winter, and selling electricity to Taipower can create an additional benefit.
The wastewater process on a pig farm includes an anaerobic fermentation process. As long as there's a pig farm in Taiwan, there should be biogas generation.
It's almost possible to send more than 4,000 kilowatts of electricity a day, which is sold to Taipower. Our generator runs 24 hours a day.
For livestock farms that raise 20,000 pigs, biogas power generation will increase income by $600 a day. Thai Sugar is the largest pig farmer in Taiwan with some 200,000 pigs.
We can reduce the water consumption and increase the density with biogas production, increasing by about 50%.
Pig manure needs to be recycled. The first procedure is solid liquid separation to make fertilizer. After the liquid from wastewater is adjusted, 10 days of anaerobic fermentation take place, and there is a chance to use biogas for power generation.
This is the first stage, and we can see that there are no sediments, which means that the solid liquid separation effect is quite good.
Maybe some pools have a pH that is too high, as we suggest them to make some adjustments.
Fermentation of pig manure produces methane, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide, which all have value when it comes to potential biogas power generation.
The efficiency of gas production is related to organic matter being degraded and converted to produce biogas. The more biogas produced, the more energy we can use.
The government was pushing biogas power generation 30 years ago. At that time, everyone was not very skilled in technology. Some 700 or 800 pig farmers who invested in this all failed.
A second-generation pig farmer, Tzu Chi, remembers this terrible past.
There are two very important reasons for the failure back then. One is hydrogen sulfide, which was excessive. We didn't understand this, and the second is that the water vapor content was too high. If it's not treated and biogas goes directly into the generator, it'll lead to mechanical failure of the generator.
Hydrogen sulfide has a corrosive effect, as desulfurization is needed, and one needs to reduce the concentration for the benefit of the equipment.
Learning from failure led this farmer to make a comeback 20 years later. Today, pig farmers who have invested in biogas reuse based on the scale biogas power generation accounts for 760,000 pigs. Biogas reuse 1.74 million, and a total of 2.5 million pigs are used for this resource, accounting for 45% of the breeding volume.
I hope to do this for the future of Taiwan. I hope Taiwan's livestock can make a major change.
Ding Yingxian is a legendary figure in the animal husbandry industry, has practiced medicine for decades and still lives in Yunlin. He is both a doctor and a pig farmer.
The pig farms that follow the traditional method of rearing pigs is considered very messy and the smell is awful.
Dr. Ding learned from Europe and Danish practices. He worked with 5 nearby livestock farms to establish a biogas power generation energy company. The pig excrement from the neighboring pig farmers traveled by pipeline directly into this anaerobic tank, which is several stories high.
We turn the carbon that may cause atmospheric hazards into useful methane.
So when we use it to generate electricity, we can actually benefit greenhouse emissions and use it to trade for carbon rights.
Carbon rights can be traded because they are related to climate change and global warming. Therefore, manufacturers are willing to pay a price for this. Unfortunately, human appetites largely remain unchanged, and the environmental threats follow will inevitably continue long into the future. The COVID pandemic continues as Tzu Chi Australian volunteers provided supplies to 114 poor households while abiding by pandemic prevention regulations. We leave you with these images. Goodbye.